I went to Fort Rucker, Alabama. I might have mentioned this before. And I ended up being a chauffeur for Deputy Center Commander at Fort Rucker, Alabama, and it was Colonel Shockner. And once in a while I got to drive for visiting generals and so forth, and it was interesting at that time.
Did you ever drive Dwight D. Eisenhower around?
No.
He's general?
No, that was
a little bit before the time?
way before.
Well, he was probably president when you were driving the generals around.
No, he was not, because this was later on in years. President Truman's nephew, I believe, was there, and let's see, a chief of staff. I can't remember his name. Can't remember his last name right now. But anyway, he'd visit, and you know, I drove for the a 4-star one time. Seems like his name was Haynes or Hines or something like that. And he was visiting. I got to drive for him and the colonel, the deputy center commander of Fort Rucker.
You didn't realize you were a chauffeur?
Yes, I was a chauffeur, and you wouldn't know it behind this rugged exterior.
Well, you still are a chauffeur. You've driven me around. You're a chauffeur in a truck.
Yeah. Now I drive a truck, and it was a interesting job. But I got bored, and I believe I mentioned this before. I was going to go airborne. Some of my buddies, went airborne, and you got the patch on the hat, and boots bloused. I had all my clothes tailored, and those guys looked pretty sharp. And I thought, wow, I should try that. And I would sit in the driver's room. I do a lot of drawing and so forth, and they had a copy machine there, and I talked to people half the day and waited for the colonel to ring the bell for me to pick him up. I almost went airborne, and I'm kind of glad I didn't. But those guys, you got to hand it to them, the ones that made it. It's kind of neat.
And you were barely airborne.
Barely, almost, and I didn't do it. And I was drafted, so I was in for only 2 years. And so anyway, that's about it on the military. I did drive at first a taxi cab around post, and then I drove a school bus.
Did you get sent to another country?
Kindergarten, no.
Yes, you did. You got sent to Alabama.
Well, that's not another country. There's some nice people in Alabama.
I agree.
I really, really enjoyed the people there. Friendly, and at that time they were very trusting, and it was just a whole new world for me at that time. And I was there, good Lord, almost 2 years after basic training. That's where I went. And I took basic training at Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri, and that was very interesting, and
now we're getting some idea on why it is that you have a little bit of a southern accent.
Because I took basic training at Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. Ooh, is he off base? Ooh.
Get it? Off base?
Well,
No, I'm not off base. I'm right on base. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Alabama, Missouri, it's the South. And they talk like the South.
Like the South.
And you were at a time when you were learning language, still?
I'm still learning language. I'm the only guy that knows only the English language, and I'm still having trouble speaking it.
Hey, join the club.
There are a lot of people like that.
I am having a little trouble with English language too.
It's no problem. We just do with what we got and roll with it. We can communicate one way or the other.
Look at the chips fly.
Oh, look at those chips fly. This is basswood. This is a soft, easy wood to carve. And I had this cut out, and I thought, well, let me tackle this one. I'll get tired of spoons, just like I did these old chickens and stuff like that. I get on a kick, and then I get bored, and I go do something else. I was on the scroll saw. I think you've seen.
We're seeing a theme here, Larry. A theme of Larry getting bored.
Yeah.
What's with
John
that?
Wayne picture. That was scroll saw. I got tired of doing that stuff.
Yeah. So why do you get bored?
Well, I just want to move on to different things.